for Andrea Stella as he walks on lap, but I'd rather be quickest over 71 lap if we can't get our race pace. Apach had the advantage. Lando Norris. Let's see what happens today on a day when Bernie will get some faster lap times for sure.
We will. He was the leader yesterday, as we can see. They were the only team to bring a lot of upgrades yesterday. Rear wing across the two Red Bulls. So at the back, in the top section of the rear, maybe Kieran can pop over and have a look at the back of Yuki Tsunoda. The wing is totally straight. Now that's the separate, but can Max continue to get that?
What does it bring Max in terms of the benefits that they want?
Cars are on high downforce at this downforce rear wing, so a bit more straight. And Max is obviously able to manage that because the car doesn't have the load on the tyre. Part of the reason that we hear Max between low fuel pace and
it changes and evolves a reasonable amount. There's a big jump overnight. And we have Formula E running on a short track, Barcelona or Silverstone, which is used. It does clean up and put a bit of rubber down. And watching free practice 3, don't be 25 minutes of this session race. They don't want to be doing too many laps on that.
In the morning here in Mexico City, and the sun is out, but it does get very, very warm by the time we get stations with the best possible. Go back to Max and he's sliding and running a little less. You know, we had that change from Friday to Saturday. On force, I can live with it through the corners if we.
I think the difference is there are more Ascari chicane parabolica as proper corners, first of all, but of Carlos Sainz at the start of the interview there before the session. He's slower than Lando in the race. I will get beaten. We need to make sure we've got a
outscore both McLarens at the last 4, 33 points in the last 5 Las Vegas Grand Prix. There will be 2 more Grand Prix. I'm sure Lewis Hamilton does. He won his 9. It was like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it? And gnawing away at him as well, because the Mozzies are really going for him.
Really?
Yeah. It would be quite a stroll out on the track. Soft tyres is out there eventually, and if you want to log on with to your Sky Sport now, you can use the interactive button and preparing himself for his first flying lap,
which is incredibly impressive considering the Red Bull, some amazing performances. Look at the rear wing of the team to understand what the airflow is like. 1, they're running FlowViz in FP3. 2, to the car after yesterday's session. If everything's hunky-dory in the halfway mark of the session.
Exactly. Little change now. The bollard has been moved so that they can take a bit more curb and still that curb, and that change is coming over. Exit from turn 11. It's a short straight, but you know, a Formula 1 driver must be really fiddly until you can get the power down round about now. City, and you produce a time of a 1:18, the fastest time. The track will evolve a touch.
To me, that's known as they would have had drivers running the simulator overnight. There would have some positive changes to the car for today, right direction. Or no, this is not there for Max, and we'll see if they come in and then another push lap. We'll keep an eye on it.
Careful, cool lap. As Isaac Hadj. What's happening here?
Yeah, we've seen lots of drivers struggling under here. You know, the drivers are coming at tremendous. So Hamilton going slowly, and he's got Stroll and Verstappen behind him. But they all
see, but this would have been Lewis. Well, here goes Lewis Hamilton again. So talk us through
the lap. Max Verstappen's gone past our commentary box again, struggling under braking. Helicopter up here, but that was quite a.
Is that brakes too cool? Tyres too?
The Alpine there of Pierre Gasly's. Aiming for just before the hunt. Be a combination of the brakes and the tire. We know throughout his 2014 part of his armory and the feeling he needs to go to.
The more the car accelerates, so I would expect. Ferrari received that vote of confidence from the Ferrari check. There was a bit of smoke. Now that could just be still making his way around it. Spending too much time doing Texan barbecue recently in his picture.
But I saw him flash past our commentary box now. At the braking for turn 1, we saw Lewis have a little bit more confidence and a better feeling.
Turns 1 and 2, rated 2, and then the next corner coming up is
and big and reasonably close. You contrast that it does feel cumbersome, and it does just.
So into the stadium sector comes this flying lap. Double cool, went for the nearly 7/10 behind, and 1-1.
I hadn't actually seen Lewis had done a lap, and that's actually in fact that he's nearly 7/10 away from the Red Bull.
In the Alpine, this is the left bent, as it were.
I was talking to here, his last win, and the feeling I had in the car on the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
You may not get there, but at least that weekend last year was, and fastest, But, you know,
His
obviously,
engineers to speak Italian to him, would that work?
crossover from the Latin root of the language.
Has he?
Which is, the root of the language is there, so get your mind between the three languages there.
He's got the same front wing as Max Verstappen this weekend, and speed, but it will certainly help through these parts.
So a bit wide at 6 carry, to hook up the curbs and really get hooked up the curbs as well as he would like. He's quite aggressive on the wheel, isn't he? You watch how he topped on. So it's, and he goes third fastest, but
Curbs that will pick up a bit of lap time or not?
it's his first run. And
Championship leader Oscar Piastri has. Let's head down to Bernie Collins in the pit lane.
And both of them have been into the pit stop track. That helps cool the tyres as well, cornering through that Ferrari.
Thank you. Talking of young is Lando Norris. That's next month, isn't it? Down.
he's got Gabriel Bortoletto and Oliver out of the way because this is the Red Bull was quicker over the long runs.
That was Lewis
The
Hamilton.
break, he's got a break.
Yeah,
was very odd.
Was that Lewis Hamilton and would have come back on the runoff area? But this,
One more replay of that front leg because I'm sure there was.
that's all
good.
from the rear, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So he's onto the escape road that you had. I think maybe the smoke just caught Lewis out on, but that Lando Norris moment.
It was very, very odd. I'm glad they spent money putting all that asphalt down.
Goes third fastest. We have not to in the commentary box. Karun Chandler and Luke Browning is with us. Hi, Luke, for this year, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, but unlike Karun,
Big title to do.
this season, and then we'll see what.
Absolutely was. This track is a bit different car around here in tricky conditions. It was amazing.
The track's really green. What were the instructions?
Enjoy it. You deserve it. I've had a driver, and I think we all know that.
For people who may not be following F2, Abu Dhabi with 4 races to go, where do you think your chances lie there?
Oh, we're absolutely there. Super tough to be all well within grasp.
Excellent. We'll talk more about the 118.0 on the soft tyre. So whatever it's all in the world of Formula One, it's all about you. A lock up, we're going wide. Oh no, it's a McLaren. Did you rehearse your team radio messages?
Actually, they got me in some.
Told from the pit wall then, when you're in a sit.
So you can see here feedback of how the car balance is feeling for the next lap to try and improve on what changed.
And Carlos Sainz keeping out 4 seconds, 3 seconds behind.
Precisely, it's exactly, and then you try and see it's blind.
But I mean, Karun, it must be really different conversations that are going on at the same time. It's no wonder.
Sympathy for the engineers because, you know, the tyre engineers, the strategy engineers, the performance engineers, the gear, and, you know, often you'll see drivers get a sometimes. So I actually feel sympathy for the. Just keep an eye on your mirrors. Pieces for dawdling on the racing line. And
on the racing line. Remember that? Sage of Science in Luke Browning's car from Yemen.
That's yeah, lovely thing.
Welcome back to Mexico City, where lads 100ths of a second between at the top. The little lock-up. Still seeing a lot of reserve academy support. Him up to a reserve driver by the end of this conversation.
Me to put work. Right.
Why does it seem so easy to be
Traffic on the outlet, but also get the tyres in. It's going to be more on the outlet.
And what do you do as a driver? Yourself, have a great time, and then the engineer's like,
I'm going to lock up. I think it's the tough. It's always a guessing game. Yeah, you can push that brake at T1 on the first lap, otherwise maybe.
Verstappen yesterday was not happy with his race pace.
Yeah.
On a 22.1,
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to be using the run plan for Red Bull. Seen them go out.
But if you've made a load of changes overnight, then yellow flags.
Yeah, but we were saying before, it's unusual to see
The real performance runs happening here.
George Russell now. Does this look any better?
match for Lando, so that's good. 27. Let's see if he has the grip he needs. No, but that's better.
That'll do.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's done almost a double warm-up there, so yeah, seems to work well for him now.
There are currently at the moment his qualifying sessions we've ever had. What do we have? Hungary half a second. That's the closest we've ever had.
It's fantastic, isn't it? The end of the regulation year.
It's the race tomorrow because Luke Browning says it's going to be brilliant. So on Sunday at 8 p.m. Put your feet up, have a couple of commentary box, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic promo. Thank you. Barrel down the turn one. Whether we get a lot of overtake wear in the top 5, where would you want to start?
But going down to T1, there's a massive
Brings that because you're a winner of the Macau Grand Prix, right? Starting on pole makes you really of how people play the draft and the opening lap. Right? You got there in qualifying. You do the best lap there starting. How much prep will the drivers be?
the inside here, but it's possible to go around the outside and then get difference down into T1 here with it being such a long run.
Pops himself up with another lap and the fast end. you'd be silly to give away something to turn one.
Very possibly. It's always a difficult one.
Curves. That's why we have our resident team stress tomorrow, Bernie Collins.
Yes, I will indeed, because we get a lot of information about the cars the drivers are struggling with. It's getting the balance of lap time being a 1:18 of the fastest lap time set in through track temperature, but a little bit just overflowing with the feeling right there.
Thank you, Bernie. We see Alex Corinne and I were just having a quick look, hundredths of a second of each other currently, and his teammate Max Verstappen. That's really close.
Yeah, that is FP2 time. It's about 3/10 quicker here.
Yeah.
And yet today, Western teams and drivers need to approach setting up the car roasting hot, 47 degrees.
Come on, the team radio just said last 2 laps grip much.
Especially for overheating coming into this last sector. Need that tyre to just hang on here as Lewis.
Hands down on Lando Norris. About 5 Karun Chandler. Something.
Since Baku, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, I know ahead of him in the race, he never looked as cool. He's never looked as quick as today. Maybe even a bit more. It's
quite possibly he was in my era coming up. Going to be interesting to see how he handles coming into the second half of the season. But be him.
I asked him about the F3, take anything from that season and use it as a reference where things got a little bit hairy for me too. You, Luke, as the only current racing driver, how do you wipe clear?
Easy to jump on the bandwagon. When stuff's not going well, you know, in the scheme of things, there's not much time at all. Different strategy, could be on more fuel. I think all will be revealed in qualifying later.
And Bernie Collins.
Yes, indeed, Coffee. So see the mechanics working out that rear in piece of suspension is controlling the ride height, how that wheel sits versus the Norris's car before we go out to this final.
Is there a danger, Luke, that you can run a car too low?
Yeah, ride height's a tough philosophy, and teams and drivers that are trying to push it as low as they can, obviously, as it's on the apex there. So if you don't quite get it right,
Williams, how important is it the world you're able to give the... I think people often forget the drivers.
Every team on the grid is doing simulations. Rookie driver, it's an amazing opportunity with more and more back at the factory. So when we do race support, we can hopefully by the end of the year.
Fingers crossed, my car's in safe hands if Luke's around, that's not a problem. Back next year, so if you don't win, you might have a job. The question is, are you going to win it? What are you doing next year?
And I said, watch this, Crofty, no problem.
You know about junior drivers coming.
That's a good look that I need, yeah.
Honestly, we have 100% doing Jack Aitken.
Jack Aitken?
Yeah. Time and time again.
He's a lovely guy, though.
He's a great guy. Eventually, it's going to have to happen. Luke, thanks. Luke leaves us. Alex Albon is the end. He's done a 27.4 for the part of this session, which George Russell had.
Soft eyes here for Alex Albon. So this is as the track has improved and evolved. And he's not going to finish. That's a second.
Right there, and Alex Albon was looking good. George Russell ahead of Lando Norris. Soft tyre run. Soft tyre runs here in Mexico City flying lap. We're now focusing on Oscar Piastri. Can he keep it going towards the coming out of the final corner? Crosses the line. Russell will be next to cross the line. Russell only
didn't do a time, a couple of tenths down, and there's Lawson actually, who's been even quicker. So the race
had a 5-race scoring streak. The red 2-point scoring contention here this week through the middle sector. Crosses the line between himself and Oscar Piastri.
Final sector time is still that. Let's take a look with Max Verstappen as Kimi Antonelli.
I was going to ask you about the tyres. Do you need to take it without pushing the tyres too much? So you've got that.
Yeah, and to underline Antonelli, and then just the time just bled away. They're definitely more committed on the curve, and he is fastest of anyone. No lock up there into 13. You traction, the rear of the car sticking with him.
Milliseconds between the top 4, and he did have the pace with it. Hamilton, blistering middle snap, Ferrari pole sitter, of course, here. Around the final corner we come with Lewis. Lewis had just put a massive gap. Norris now on a flyer, and he's now got the...
But Lewis Hamilton's time, we'd seen on previous occasions on a Friday, lap now.
So Lando Norris, who is stringing together a really the ride heights at the McLaren. Maybe, let's see, crosses the line, quick, the guy who's fastest, and the guy...
Every sector of the lap, that is a big lap. He's gone again, part of the lap, the middle sector now. Where
and just have a little look down here at Tews. We saw him go, where he's gone too deep as well. Not seeing front of...
And you can see him at the back of the garage watching on. That's right, 6 sets of tyres because they found an issue when they were changing that in time. So the car is coming apart.
Bernie, why have they gone through so many tyres?
Aston Martin's actually, and a little bit absolute fast side of the tyre, but fortunately they've been hampered at the final, being vital learning for Fernando Alonso going in.
You know, go and install labs and cure the tyres else.
It's definitely not a team of tyre engineers at every team actually to get the best out of them, and Aston Martin for tyres, and that can be anything from the prep, not using DRS. These tyres are very fast.
Pits, he did put in another lap, teammate Lando Norris, and that on different programs at this stage of the session.
Lando's been on fire, hasn't he? In this good rhythm around this track. And Verstappen hunting down 34 points off Zandvoort. It's now down to 14 Zandvoort race. You know, he would be leading by 4.
Afterwards, he could have let you 5 important points.
Isaac Hadjar has some choice friends.
Miserable weekend. Pierre Gasly season. Oh, it's going well then.
Yeah, this is only a 2.6 mile track. Seconds to the car in front. Let's say that Pierre should or shouldn't have let it by.
I've got no power.
You're never going to get that around a track. Fit everybody in to the track, right? Everyone's doing their push lap at exactly the same time,
which is not easy. On a roasting, Max has gone for another push lap. 7th crosses the line, 6th fastest, only from 3rd downwards.
Yeah,
is he the Messiah?
Incredibly popular here in Mexico. You know, it was beating Checo.
Yeah.
But actually, Max Verstappen merchandise.
Really?
Yeah. Massive. Oh.
He's stopped. Straight line speed, only 17 group. That traction and then losing out. Along with Max was Giampiero Lambiase. There's bigger job.
Yeah. It's, you know, Verstappen 3:42. Hamilton was 3:47. He's not the quickest, but we'll see when we get to qualifying now.
Line speed isn't everything. Lando Norris 3:4 through the speed trap at the end of the straight. Of course, at Mercedes now, they've got half a second on you guys in the straight. About 6/10 faster in the corners.
Yeah, I mean,
it just sounded like a go then of this session. The cars will come back so on the grid too, and you.
Yeah, I mean they only need to get up
of the garages. I hope so.
It's the longest run to turn 167 meters to the first break. Looking at what we've seen so far running out earlier, then you run the risk of an early set carry that for a long stint to the end of the race.
I came out on lap 15 and used to go on to a set of hards, which will be. I kind of think we're set up for a race tomorrow that tow a little bit while we go into the tyre management phase.
Yeah, as we had last year.
Because we had an FP2 yesterday. You missed it.
The flag is directly opposite our.
Going to happen. Verstappen of this session, but it only leaves him. Set the engine up for him, and maybe not for. I don't know. The times will be close.